Hello and welcome to yet another day on Youngistan. A way to a man's heart is through his stomach എന്ന് പറയല്ലേ. Culinary is becoming an in thing among youngsters. The art of learning to cook like a professional. അതാണ് ഇപ്പോൾ youngstersന്റെ secret tip. Girls ആയാലും boys ആയാലും everybody loves to cook good food and do it like a professional. In the Youngistan, I have a special guest. He had his professional learning from Switzerland. അതിനുശേഷം ഇത്രയും ചെറുപ്പത്തിൽ തന്നെ he is the chef at Hilton Garden in Trivandrum. Specializes in continental cuisine. അതുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെ let me welcome Amrit Appaden to Youngistan. Hello Amrit and thank you for joining with me on my show.
Welcome.
All right. Yeah. So tell me something. നമ്മുടെ ഇന്ത്യൻ ഫുഡിന്റെ കാര്യത്തിൽ ഞാൻ കേട്ടിട്ടുണ്ട്. It's something called a safe food. അല്ലെങ്കിൽ കൂടുതലും ഇന്ത്യൻസ് പ്രിഫർ ചെയ്യുന്നത് നമ്മുടെ ഈ സ്ട്രീറ്റ് ഫുഡ്സ് അതുപോലത്തെ കിട്ടുന്ന ഫുഡ്സ് ആണ്. So is it like that? അങ്ങനെ ഒരു കോൺസെപ്റ്റ് ഉണ്ടോ? സേഫ് ഫുഡ് എന്നുള്ള ഒരു കോൺസെപ്റ്റ് ഉണ്ടോ?
Safe food as in the food everywhere is safe, to be honest. It's safe, but it's about your perception. Street food in India is something that's really sought out and everyone likes because the flavors and it's available, and the main factor that plays in it is the money. That's something that people look out to. Everyone is gonna see how much does that cost, how much does this cost. So that's something that really is of value over here, and the quality also. So it's pretty safe because a lot of regulations, a lot of rules by the government is there, and the people also who's serving it a lot of them look at it as a means of, a daily wage or something. But a lot of them are of passion, A lot of them are just serving it for, that passion of serving a person and making that food and giving it to people. Because I know a lot of places, a lot of street food, a lot of places that they have this much quantity, and once it's done, they close down for the day and tell them, sorry sir, come the next day. So that's ensuring quality and it's safe.
Okay. All right. You gave a total different definition for safe.
Yes,
it's very good. So, in ഞാൻ ചോദിച്ചോട്ടെ വേറൊരു ഐഡിയ ഉണ്ട് ആൾക്കാരുടെ ഇതിൽ നമ്മളിപ്പം if we go to a hotel മെനുവിൽ if we have French food, if we have Italian food and we have Indian food എല്ലാം ഇങ്ങനെ സെപ്പറേറ്റ് ചെയ്ത് വെച്ചിരിക്കുവാണ്. ഒരു ധാരണ ഉള്ളതെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഫ്രഞ്ച് ഫുഡ് ഇറ്റാലിയൻ ഫുഡ് എല്ലാം സൊഫിസ്റ്റിക്കേറ്റഡ് ആണ്, ഇന്ത്യൻ ഫുഡ് ഇസ് നോട്ട് വെരി സൊഫിസ്റ്റിക്കേറ്റഡ്. അങ്ങനെ ഒരു കാര്യമുണ്ടോ from a chef?
Well, from my standpoint, you can't call it sophisticated. I mean, because Italian and French food play a lot with the flavors. It's all about simple, fresh, and rich ingredients. It's all about the freshness and the simplicity of the dishes and the combinations. It's not overpowering. No ingredient overpowers each other. So the focus here in Italian and French cuisine and all the other cuisines are about each ingredient.
Okay.
It's about when you put it in your mouth, it taps different points on your taste bud at the same time.
Oh.
So that's what we see,
Okay.
That's how it is, In Italian, you say it's a normal bread with extra virgin olive oil and tomatoes and a fresh herb. That's it. That's basically, it. They're easy. It's a full meal for them,
Oh.
It's as simple as that. So you can't call it sophisticated and complicated and all that. It's very simple. It's easy. It's delicate and it's very elegant.
Okay.
And Indian food at the same time is not complicated. I mean, we think it's all about, so many things mixed together and all. But even in Indian food, it has its individuality, All the spices that come together, the combinations, the aromas, like, you have rose petals coming in, you have star anise, all those kind of spices that come in to have a bond. And, it's like a family there, you get that flavor and the bond. So those also are individual flavors. And those pair with the other flavors that we add in to create a spike. Each dish has a different spike, a thing that stands out. So you can't call it complicated or sophisticated. It's all elegant and simple, and
it's all about
perfect.
the taste.
It's all about the taste.
Okay.
It's all about where it hits on your tongue and how you feel. It's not just about the spice.
Okay.
Because we have this concept about Indian food is only spice.
Spice.
It's not just.
പിന്നെ whole meal എന്ന് പറയുന്ന ഒരു സദ്യയാണ്, അങ്ങനെ ഒരു കോൺസെപ്റ്റ് ഉണ്ട് അല്ലേ?
Yes, it's a perfect example. Sadhya. It's got so many ingredients, so many different dishes and so many flavors, and those coming together. And if you say in a proper perspective, you have a particular way of having the sadhya. So those are also to tamper and, taunt your taste buds. So,
Alright.
that's there.
Okay. So tell me something. Normally hotels like foreigners, I mean, let's say where countries in the where nations in the guests. What do they order? Do they like North Indian food? Do they prefer South Indian food? Prefer?
Okay, well, coming to that, when people from other nations come down, when they come down to India, and suppose they come to North India or South India, what happens is, we as chefs, we, want to promote our regional cuisine, because that is something of real value, When they come over, they can get everything everywhere else. They go to their hometown, Indian food is available. The present world is of that such, you have every food everywhere. But what happens is the actual authentic local food made by a person who's been doing that is available only at that particular region. So when guests come over, they usually prefer to, taste the traditional stuff. Like at the hotel when they come down, Kerala cuisine, or Kerala fish, that is something that they order a lot. Even though it's spicy and even though it's got a lot of tang and we have a lot of tastes to balance, they prefer ordering, regional cuisines, Indian and other.
Okay.
But always, when they're at home, they want to feel like home, so they order their own kind of, cuisine.
Okay. All right. Now tell me, raw food ഇതുപോലെ ഇപ്പോ നമ്മൾ വീഡിയോയിൽ കണ്ട പോലെ raw food അങ്ങനെ എപ്പോഴെങ്കിലും സംഭവിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ടോ when you're like cooking അവസാനം plate ചെയ്ത് കഴിയുമ്പോൾ you know that you cut the meat and it's like raw അങ്ങനെ സംഭവിച്ച ജൂനിയേഴ്സിനെ പുറത്ത് വിടുന്ന ഇൻസിഡൻസ് ഒക്കെ ഉണ്ടായിട്ടുണ്ടോ?
Well, that is an incident that happened and we all saw it, but in the kitchen it does happen. I mean, when you have a staff who's not that well trained, or it can happen from anyone's hand. When if you don't check the meat, if you are in a hurry, that's the reason why the timing is very important and the temperatures are very important. And you make sure your textures are right, and you can touch a meat and come to know about the texture if it's done on the doneness. And each guest prefers a different kind of doneness, rare, medium rare, all those kinds of donenesses. So you should ask the guest pre-hand what kind of doneness they require and then serve it based on that. Because if I go to a restaurant and I order for a steak and I say medium, and if they give it to me overdone, then I wouldn't be really happy. So it's the same, the opposite way. A perfect example is from a buffet. From the same buffet, I've had two guests pick up the same food at the same time and go at two separate corners. And one call out the chef, the other also call another chef, and both of them had the opposite, direct opposite complaint. One was, the meat is undercooked, really undercooked. How can you serve something like this? The second person was, this is overcooked. How can you serve it? It's overcooked.
Okay.
So that is about, the raw and, it's a very thin line, based on each person's flavor. So
Okay.
I can even say, pasta, when I have personally had that when I started my career in the beginning. I've had my orders sent back like 4 to 5 times. But saying that it's not cooked. But the reason was that for that person's individual taste, it wasn't cooked. So they liked it overcooked or, whatever.
Okay.
So when incidents like this happen and a mistake, a fault happens, we do tend to, go overboard, I would say, and yell. But then, yes,
ഓക്കെ ഒരുപാട് യങ്സ്റ്റേഴ്സ് ഇപ്പം കൾനറിയിലേക്ക് വരുന്നുണ്ട് അപ്പം അത് ഒന്ന് പാഷൻ ഫോർ കുക്കിംഗ് ആണ് ദേ ഹാവ് സീൻ പ്രോബബ്ലി ഓവർ ദി ഇയേഴ്സ് ഗ്രാൻഡ് മോംസ് കുക്കിംഗ് സ്റ്റൈൽ ആൻഡ് മദേഴ്സ് കുക്കിംഗ് സ്റ്റൈൽ അല്ലേ ഒരുപാട് യങ്സ്റ്റേഴ്സ് ഇൻഫ്ലുവൻസ്ഡ് ആണ് ആൻഡ് ഐ എം ഗെസ്സിംഗ് യു ആർ ഓൾസോ on that same line, adala. Allah, you've tried.
I've tried.
On a totally different platform.
Yeah,
all right.
totally different platform.
Forget that I'm Nazi. Okay, but the thing is that ഈ കൾനറി അല്ലെങ്കിൽ കിച്ചൻ്റെ ഒരു പ്രത്യേകത എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ബാക്കി ഏത് പ്രൊഫഷനിലും നോക്കിയാലും നമ്മളുടെ ആ ഒരു സ്പേസ് ഓഫീസ് സ്പേസിൽ ചിലപ്പം കേരളയിലുള്ള ആൾക്കാരായിരിക്കും വർക്ക് ചെയ്യുന്നത് മലയാളീസ് കാണും ചിലപ്പം നോർത്തിൽ ചെന്നാൽ യു ഹാവ് ഹിന്ദി സ്പീക്കിംഗ് പീപ്പിൾ പക്ഷെ നിങ്ങളുടെ ഒരു ഫീൽഡിൽ ഡിഫറെൻറ്റ് കൺട്രീസിൽ നിന്നുള്ള ആൾക്കാരായിരിക്കും ഒരു സ്പേസിൽ വർക്ക് ചെയ്യുന്നത് സോ യു ഹാവ് എ പേഴ്സൺ ഫ്രം ഫ്രാൻസ് യു മൈറ്റ് ഹാവ് എ പേഴ്സൺ ഫ്രം ഇറ്റലി ചിലപ്പോൾ പഞ്ചാബിൽ നിന്നായിരിക്കും ഒരാൾ വന്ന് ഹി മൈറ്റ് ജസ്റ്റ് മേക്ക് സം റിയലി ഗുഡ് ഫുഡ് പഞ്ചാബി ഫുഡ് സോ അങ്ങനെ ഒരു സ്പേസിൽ did you get a chance to like exchange your ideas anganekku undaയിട്ടുണ്ടോ?
In fact, I have been very, very lucky to endure a lot of cross, training and a lot of, what do you say, involved with a lot of people, to get to know them, work with a lot of different people from different cultures and different regions of India and of the world, in fact. And it's, for instance, once YHS, Young Hoteliers Summit. So I went for that. I took part in it. And that was an opportunity in Switzerland, in Lausanne, Switzerland. And that was like a platform and an opportunity for different people, around 54 people from different countries to come together.
And you were representing?
Yes.
Okay.
3 of us from here went.
From India?
Yes.
Okay.
So for the Young Hotelier Summit, from the colleges which were selected for it.
Okay.
And so when we went there, the only rule was that the person from a country does not team up with the same country.
Oh, അതായത്
from India,
3 Indians ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു,
Yes.
ബാക്കി എല്ലാം പല countries.
yeah, 3 people from every
Every
place,
country, okay.
a lot of the countries. So you pair up. It's a team of 6. You pair up with 6 people from different countries.
Oh,
so every team is different, and they put you together on a 3-4 day workshop and everything, and you work together. A lot of projects, a lot of stuff. And you get to know, each other, how do each other think, how diverse it is at different places. In the kitchen and outside the kitchen, all of it. So that was one opportunity I got. And in the kitchen itself, I have got a lot of opportunities with Africans, with Moroccans, with Arabs, to work with them. So it's really diverse.
Food style പഠിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ടോ?
Yes, it's very different food style and very different. I mean, totally different and tasty. I mean,
Very tasty.
Very tasty.
കേൾക്കുമ്പോൾ വായിൽ
Yeah,
വെള്ളം.
definitely. I'm like, I have to go back and make something right now.
ഓക്കെ സോ എന്താണ് അമൃത് എന്താ അവിടെ സ്വിറ്റ്സർലൻഡിൽ പോയി ഇത്രയും കൺട്രീസിലെ ആൾക്കാരുണ്ട് റെപ്രസെന്റ് ചെയ്തപ്പോൾ വാട്ട് ഫുഡ് ഡിഡ് യു ടീച്ച് ദം? എന്താ പഠിപ്പിച്ചു കൊടുത്തത്? എന്ത് ഡിഷാണ് പഠിപ്പിച്ചത്?
It's actually the misconceptions that they have about our food and our culture. Like, a lot of misconceptions, generally that they have. So I got a chance to clear that out on a face front. So initially it was like, he's an Indian, so, okay. But it was a good thing that it happened. So they got to know exactly what we are all about.
സോ തോന്നിയോ ഇങ്ങനെ നമ്മുടെ ഫുഡ് ഓയിലി ആണ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഭയങ്കര സ്പൈസി ആണ് അങ്ങനെ ഒരു ധാരണയാണോ? Is that what they think about our food?
No, I mean, the oil aspect of it, it's actually not supposed to be oily, to be honest. But it tends to happen. Like, if you say, over there, they have a lot of fresh ingredients. They don't tamper with it or overcook it a lot. But for us, we have a lot of gravies and stuff that we cook a lot. So they have that concept that it's all just about gravies. So you get to clear that out, that it's not just gravies. It's all about a lot of spices and a lot of masalas and combinations that you have to go, very delicate combinations. So that, you got to clear a lot of that with them, and it was good.
Okay.
Yeah, it was really good.
All right. So just tell me something. Now that you brought up this whole gravy thing, Britain അവരുടെ ഒരു നാഷണൽ ഫുഡ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ഇന്ത്യൻ കറിയാണ്. സോ അതുപോലെ നമ്മൾക്കും ഉണ്ടോ എന്തെങ്കിലും that we have adapted over the times?
Yes, definitely. I mean, I would say definitely there are things that we've adopted over the times and ingredients that we have adopted over the times. Like a lot of simple ingredients that we, think that have origins from here probably don't have origins from here. So
Okay.
that's always there. And for example, a perfect thing is a dish called sopatil or vindalu, which we see in the Konkan region, the Goan region, those dishes. So those are actually originated, the base was not from Goa or Konkan region.
Oh, okay.
It was from Portuguese. When the Portuguese came down, that influence came down.
Oh, okay.
And so that is what brought it down. And then we had variations into it.
Oh. So
bring it
I
down.
think most people do not know.
Yes, a lot of the dishes, the history and the same
history.
dishes have been adopted at different places, like Brazil.
Oh, okay.
A dish called the pork sopatil. It came down from Portuguese. It went to Brazil. It got its influence there. They also adopted it. Came to Konkan region. They also adopted it. So, and we know it as a dish from Goa. So that's how we know it. So there are lots of dishes like that we, we have adapted into our, our culinary tastes and,
Okay, all right. Time to take a short break here.
Sure.
Yeah, hold that thought.
Okay.
Time to take a short break. Breakന് ശേഷം അമൃത്തിന്റെ culinary വിശേഷങ്ങൾ തുടരും. So stay with us. Welcome back to Youngistan. So, നമ്മൾ ബ്രേക്കിന് മുമ്പ് we were talking to ഹിൽട്ടണിലെ ഷെഫായ അമൃത്തിനോട്. സോ ഇനി നമുക്ക് അമൃത്തിനോട് ബാക്കിയുള്ള ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസും ബാക്കിയുള്ള സംഭവങ്ങളൊക്കെ അറിയാം ഈ കിച്ചണിൻ്റെ അകത്ത് എന്താ ആക്ച്വലി നടക്കുന്നതെന്ന്. സോ അമൃത് ഇപ്പം പ്രൊഫഷണൽ കിച്ചണിലൊക്കെ ഒരുപാട് വർക്ക് ചെയ്യുന്ന ഒരു സമയമുണ്ട്. ഐ മീൻ മോസ്റ്റ് ഓഫ് ദ ടൈം ഐ തിങ്ക് കിച്ചണിലായിരിക്കും അല്ലേ? സോ ആ സമയത്ത് ഇപ്പം കുക്ക് ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുകയാണ്, കുറേ അനിയൻസ് ഇപ്പം ചോപ്പ് ചെയ്തു കഴിഞ്ഞു എന്നിരിക്കുക. സഡൻലി അതിൻ്റെ ഇടയിൽ കൈയും ചോപ്പ് ചെയ്തു. സോ വാട്ട് ഹാപ്പൻസ്? അങ്ങനെ ഇൻസിഡൻസ് ഉണ്ടായിട്ടുണ്ടോ?
Onions, once you have practice, it's very rare. But one of the main concepts before you get into any chopping, the main thing is you have to secure your chopping board. That's the main idea. So below the chopping board, a cloth, a damp cloth or a piece of paper towel, you have to secure the chopping board so that the chopping board doesn't move. So that's secure it's possible that you get cut. And incidents have happened, and I have got a serious injury. I'm gonna slip by it. I've sliced a chunk off technically.
Okay.
So
food do?
Yeah, whatever is around the area of the chopping board, it is discarded straight away because human blood is never incorporated in the food. We discard whatever is there on the spot and clean the whole area. So that's done on the spot.
Yeah. Okay.
It has to be made sure. Like there are instances when people prefer, like I've had a personal experience where one of the staff working under me, a brie cheese. So it's a can that you open. So when you open the can, you tend to cut your finger. Like when you open a can of tuna or something, you can tend to cut your finger. So if you cut your finger, a brie is pretty costly. So for him, it's about the cost. So according to him, on a layman's term, I shouldn't waste this product. So he might cut the top off and try to serve it. So that is something that should not be compromised on.
Okay.
Quality and hygiene and safety, we don't compromise on. It's discarded straight away.
Okay.
So that
all right. Even orders are special guests Hilton. So any crazy orders that you can say that came your way and you were like, what is she ordering kind of thing?
Well, yeah, that does happen. I mean, but to say the truth, I mean, crazy is defined based on the individual. So,
right.
we can't all say that it's crazy because, I think so. But according to me, what I've seen kind of weird is one would be a masala pancake that I got an order.
Masala pancake?
Yeah, I mean...
the French breakfast,
American pancake, a sweet
okay.
pancake, which you have with maple syrup. He wanted masala on top of it. And the masala, I mean, your omelette masala, which you have your onions and your tomatoes and chilies and coriander and all that. That on top of it. So it was a kind of, a crazy experience to accept that kind of order, but however we served it.
Okay.
That was one. But I think the weirdest so far that I had when I was working with one of the properties in Hyderabad was beer and idli.
Beer and idli?
Yeah.
Like proper beer in a mug, yes, and idli together?
Yes. A guest came down at around 11:30 and he was demanded he wanted breakfast. So he was late for the breakfast.
Okay.
But we always, help them out and be lenient. So we arranged breakfast. So what's there is idlis. So we served him that and we served him a portion bowl full of sambar and chutneys and all.
Okay.
And he was like, can I get an empty bowl? So our kitchen is totally live. So we all are, there and I'm the one who spoke to him. So we gave him an empty bowl and he called the bartender. So by 11:30 we're allowed to open the bar. So the bartender comes over and he asks him what you can serve. And when he brings the beer over and gives it to him, serves it to him to feel it, the temperature, he actually doesn't let him pour it in the glass, the beer goblet. He just leave it on the table. And we were all like waiting. I was standing there, I was waiting, like, what's happening. And he poured it in the bowl and then he put the idli and he actually had a spoon and, had it. So
instead of sambar or chutney that we Indians prefer,
yeah.
Is he an Indian?
Yes, he was.
Okay, beer and idli.
Yes,
is it actually a good combo? I mean, can we
that was the first time I've tried it. I mean,
and about masala pancakes, how is it?
Yeah,
a good combination?
I never tried it. Personally, I never went and tried that.
Okay.
But probably I should, I mean.
Alright, so tell me something. In the world, the different combinations like try.
Yeah.
Is there some secret recipe that you always keep aside? Special guest to wear, but they can secret recipe.
Well, yeah, as a chef, I do have my own secret recipes, but...
as the name says, it's a secret.
So I can't, say it out loud. Then it won't be a secret anymore, and it won't be mine,
Okay,
so, yeah,
but still, for people who are watching, if you want to make that extra something in your dish, just add something.
I mean, it's on the dish, I mean, there are very slight, small flavors that you can incorporate into things that, add a lot, but you don't think about it. Like, for example, few of the ingredients that you can add into, like, if you're making a dessert or something, cinnamon. Cinnamon is a very, tricky ingredient, really beautiful ingredient that you should use. And if you use it, it's very flavorful and you get a totally different lift for the whole dessert or the dish that you're making.
Okay.
And especially other than that, you can say lemon zest.
Okay.
You know, the lemon zest or an orange zest or something.
Okay.
That also adds a lot of flavor, imparts a lot of flavor, and gives you an upper edge, you know, for your dish. So
Okay.
I guess that's all, you know, I would say.
All right.
The rest
So-
stays the secret.
Good. So now that you mentioned desserts,
Yeah.
you know, stressed spelled backwards is desserts. So
Yes.
actually making a dessert, is it as stressful as, you know, as you make it, or as it seems?
It's about, you know, your perception. Okay, for example, if I say a pasta, when you think about a pasta, it's about either a spicy tomato sauce, or it's a white sauce, a cream sauce, or a cheese sauce, or a mushroom sauce, something like that, you know. So that's what comes to your mind. But have you ever thought about having a dessert pasta? You know, a chocolate pasta? You know, it is possible.
Are the tasteful? Tasty?
It is.
I
I mean, you look at the ingredients that go into it. Okay, a pasta, the dough is basically just flour. Okay, refined flour.
Okay.
Which is added in a cake. You have cake, refined flour again, and in the pasta has egg. Which in a cake again you have egg, and oil, and salt, which you have in a cake again. So it's the same thing in a different form. You understand?
And you're blaming people for asking idli and beer.
It's about the perception. You know,
Yeah.
you should try it out. You can have, you know, strawberries in a chocolate pasta. It would go well. You know, a strawberry, you know, mousse, or a fresh fruit strawberry compote with chocolate mousse and chocolate pasta. So you can, you know, experiment.
ഷെഫ്മാർ ഇതുപോലെ ക്രേസി ഐഡിയാസ്
You have to be crazy. We have
So
to be
definitely
crazy.
ഗസ്റ്റും അതുപോലെ ക്രേസി പറയുമ്പോൾ you are not, you know, moved by it, അല്ലേ? You just like, കുഴപ്പമില്ല, bring it on kind of thing.
Yes. we have the challenge every day to bring something different and, you know, go out of the box, because
Okay.
the box is something that no one wants to be in anymore. You know, you have your classics, it's there, and you have your fusions, which are upcoming, and, you know, is something that everyone wants to go into.
Okay.
So, you know, you have to be on both ends. You can't just think, okay, that's the only thing I learned and that's the only thing I'll do. So, yeah.
So there's another thing that I've heard. Working or kitchen work and professional kitchen work with chefs like you inside. It's very difficult. Like, especially for juniors or people who start off, it's hell. Hell's kitchen നമുക്ക് rename ചെയ്യാം. Actual ആയിട്ട് ഇതുപോലെ തന്നെയാണോ ഒരു കിച്ചണിനകത്ത് senior chef? Do you do that? ഇങ്ങനെ throw out ചെയ്യോ juniors നൊക്കെ? Get out. The food
It
is
depends.
really
You want me
bad.
to be diplomatic, or you want me, you know, straightforward? What happens?
എനിക്കറിയില്ല എന്താ
you know?
സംഭവിക്കുന്നതെന്ന് പറ.
Okay, well, a kitchen is a very, you know, tough, not tough, I wouldn't say tough. It's fun environment, to be honest. It's very fun because in a kitchen, you're on your toes the whole time. So if you're on an 8-hour or a 9-hour shift, you're on your toes the whole time. You know, you're like waiting, something's, it's you know, it's a continuous flow. It never stops. You have days when you get in at 7 in the morning and breakfast orders start. Breakfast, your buffet or your a la carte is busy, you know, it's non-stop till 10:30, 11, and then you have the next starting, your lunch order starting, and you have your guests who come in late for breakfast and who want late breakfast, so still you are in a crunch, and then till the afternoon, after your lunch till 3 o'clock, you're busy again. So you're on your toes the whole time, so it's very, very interesting and fun. And when all this happens, you know, you get a lot of, you know, because things have to happen fast, because you go to a restaurant. If if I go to a restaurant, you go to a restaurant, you want your food in 15 minutes or 20 minutes, right? I mean, the wait, a long period of wait is very, you know, irritating and, you know, a kind of thing, because you want your food, you're hungry and you want your food.
Yeah.
So in the kitchen, to get that to you, it's a huge different story that happens behind.
Okay.
It's something that, you know, usually people don't see, but probably in the near future, we will be having chef's tables and all happening. So you probably will be able to see it. So when that happens, yeah, we do have a lot of the same thing that happens, you know, yelling and, you know, throwing and stuff like that.
So
happening.
ഇതുപോലെ ജൂനിയേഴ്സിനെയൊക്കെ പുറത്ത് വിടാറുണ്ടോ? If
No,
they are
it's-
like on your nerves and you are like മതി നിർത്ത ഇനി ഞങ്ങൾ ചെയ്യാം kind of thing. Do you like take over the
Yeah,
table?
sometimes we do take over because
So they break down, അല്ലേ?
yeah, but what happens is, like, there are two approaches to it. Like, on a managerial standpoint, the first one is yelling, you know, and just getting them out of the place. The second standpoint is, you know, telling them to move aside and, you know, stay aside, and you do it. And once the whole busy crunch is over, go to him and explain to him the whole thing, you know, talk to him, explain, and let him know that, you know, this is why we yell.
Politely telling you are like
No.
use to the
You never see. Even when I came into it, I was not perfect. I didn't know how to chop an onion as fast as I can right now. You know, the speed develops after you know, you get a lot
Over
of
the
over the
time,
period of time, and you experience, and you keep doing it. So that is something that you have to, you know, let them understand, and you know that you don't start off knowing everything. You
Okay.
gradually grow through the whole thing, because you need to know from the base to the top, because you can't be on the top and just know the theory and not have your, you know, your speed. Speed
Okay.
comes through doing it, so you have to do it.
Okay. So, ഞങ്ങൾ ഇപ്പോൾ മൂവീസ് ഇപ്പോൾ ratatouille മൂവീസ് ഒക്കെ കാണുവാണെങ്കിൽ we can see that top chefs ഒക്കെയാണ് ഗ്രോസേഴ്സിനെയൊക്കെ ബ്രൈബ് ചെയ്ത് they get the first best supply. അങ്ങനെയൊക്കെ നടക്കാറുണ്ടോ കിച്ചണിൽ ശരിക്കും ഇങ്ങനെ
Yes, coming to Ratatouille, in Ratatouille, I remember the perfect scene, you know, where,
bribe it and get the best stuff.
Colette, I think is her name. She
Teaching the
teaches the
young
young
one,
guy, I forgot his name anyway. So she tells him that, you know, if we are the best restaurant, you have to bribe the grocer to get the best ingredients. Well, I don't feel that's really a correct, not correct, I don't think that's really true. I mean, from our standpoint, because what we do as chefs is we have a department where it goes out and procures suppliers, has particular suppliers, and we have audits that are done at their properties, spot audits that we go and do at their properties to find out what quality things are given to us. That's one. And the second thing is when we receive things, it's not just taken and it just doesn't come into the into the kitchen. A chef personally goes, a senior chef goes personally and goes and inspects everything. So it is inspected and checked and the qualities. And we do not take anything that is, you know, of under our standards. What we the benchmark we have stated, we don't take. We reject it. We politely tell them, you know, sorry, this is not possible. And for example, when I was in a property in Hyderabad, we had a food festival, seafood festival. So we needed fresh fish, and I have to say, you know, my sous chef at that time and my auxiliary chef, they would wake up at like 3:34 in the morning and go to the market personally and hand pick the fish for that day. So this happened for that whole thing. So that's the amount of quality that we ensure and you know make sure we get.
Okay.
So from our hotels and everyone around, you know, that's how we make sure that the best things come to your plate.
So tell me something. If you're saying that if you get the best supplies, you should have a best recipe on your plate, right? Apart from your secret recipe, there should be something really good that people said, okay, next time I meet you, you need to make this again. So what is that in your name? Something that you've patented?
There are a couple of things. I mean, I would say one of them, like if I would say main course, then it would be a lemon butter grilled fish steak, a salmon steak with a lemon couscous and a pepper sauce, a roasted pepper sauce. So that's if it's a main course. And if it's a dessert, then I would say, one of my cheesecakes.
All right.
I've got a lot of people asking about that.
All right.
So,
So thank you very much for joining with me on Youngistan. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
With more interesting talents on Youngistan, until tomorrow, stay young, stay happy. Thank you for watching.